Hi friends, this is Capun Piso. Brain is Grain Thoughts. This idea of Brexit is due to democracy. People vote. And if the majority of the people are ignoramuses, Christ-psychotic infected imbeciles, they're going to vote for irrational, dumb things. So that's the reason democracy, in my opinion, is terrible. It's a terrible way to govern a country. And these are all democracies. The majority vote, and the majority of the people are ignorant and stupid and moronic, controlled by the church. The church controls all the Western civilization is controlled by churches, and of course mosques and synagogues. In other words, all these crazy people, they're in control, and this is the greatest problem. Religious beliefs are mental illness. It's an HIV of the neural array. So we shouldn't have really a form of government. Will be the intelligentsia, the sapiencia, the intellect. The people are very, very educated, mentally healthy atheists should be in control of nations. Then we wouldn't have these problems. Because it's just like children, dumb, stupid, unruly, ignorant children in control of a nation, in control of everything. See? They're saying in control of Disneyland. Little children. See what's going to happen to the park. So this is the problem. People don't see that. You should. It's like putting a dentist to pilot a plane, because people believe because the dentist is a schizophrenic and say that he's a great pilot. He knows how to fly everybody around, and everybody's going to vote him to fly them someplace. And of course, the plane is going to crash because it's not a pilot that knows anything how to fly a plane. But he says he does, but he's actually a crazy man that is actually truly studied dentistry. This was happening. So scientists should read the intelligentsia should actually lead nations, a control of nations. Democracy stinks. It's not a good idea because the majority of people are stupid and ignorant. The ruling mob is controlling. This is exactly what's happening in England in Brexit. That's what happened if this schizophrenic, moronic, stupidly ignorant, Christ-psychotic infected imbecile Donald Trump becomes president of the nation. This is the problem. All these people were raised Christian, Christ-psychotic, except for her, Jewish-psychotic. She's very intelligent. But you see the problem. The whole thing is due to religious psychosis for 1700 years. Keep in mind, the church controlled all the kingdoms. After the disintegration of the Roman Empire, they were in control of education for 1700 years. They controlled what books were. They wrote the books. They printed the books. They didn't have the print yet, but they copied all the books in monasteries. And there's over the vast, which used to be the Roman Empire, now segregated into Christ-psychotic kingdoms, that they burned scientists and they burned people thinking that they were witches. The intellect went downhill, and they keep the churches educating all the kids for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds until today. We still have the Christ-psychotic infected churches teaching the kids all the bunch of garbage. And these are the kids that grow up to be economists and being control rulers of nations, president of countries, senators, congressmen, all these psychotic people that believe in God, in imaginary friends. And this is the problem. And they don't see it. So the intellect, the scientists should be in control. And people that are very well educated and they are atheists, in other words, mentally healthy scientists, and they are very intellectual. They know that was a very bad idea to break Britain to break up. Then guess who won? The ignorance won. The ignorant people, the dummies, the stupid people. Let's be independent from the European Union. There's no one to tell us what to do. This Christ-psychotic imbeciles happen. This is exactly the same reason that Donald Trump is the presumptive nominee of the Republican, the GOP, the God-obsessed party, psychotic imbeciles. Imagine, people, this psychotic, Christianity-infected imbeciles vote for Trump to be the Republican nominee. You see the difference? So this is the problem. Just ignoramus, they're very stupid, dumb people. Christianity, in fact, they vote for Trump. They want Trump to be president of the country. They don't care. The guy just thinking about himself, self-righteous, thinking about how much money he's going to make, and all that. Guy is an abysmal ignoramus in history, in politics, and anything. He doesn't have any. Does he have a brain? And the brain is the creator of thinking. But he doesn't have an idea that the creator, the true creator of our brains, is the penises of our fathers. And the brain is the one that creates thought and creates all the stuff that he's doing. And a sick brain can only create sick thinking. You see, nobody mentions that. And now the economy is going to be in shambles because of a mistake, but a vote of ignoramuses, Christianity-infected imbeciles, stupid people. There you have it. That is the reason it's going to be in shambles. That's the reason England wants to leave by the referendum that won by moronic, stupid people. It's just exactly the same thing if Trump becomes president of the United States. Identical. This is what you want, imbeciles, stupid, schizophrenic morons that believe in God and crap like that with all the churches. Well, deal with it.
Our job to get on and do it. Now look, I've heard a variety of weird constitutional possibilities, theories, and outright nonsense. The truth is, though, if 17 million people voted to leave the EU, even if you allow an element of regrexiteers, those who have got buyer's remorse, you'd still end up with a virtual riot if Parliament did not give effect to the will of the people.
Which are the most ignorant, of course, wins in a democracy. For the ignorant people, by the ignorant people majority, and to the ignorant majority. And usually the majority are infected with religious psychosis, which in this case is Christianity. The brain HIV that nobody seems to see. And there you have it. Countries should run by the intelligentsia, by scientists, by mentally healthy, in other words, atheists, intellectual, scientists with knowledge of different fields, and form a council to rule, to control the nation. It's like a teacher, like an educated teacher teaching the class. You don't let the class vote for anything that is enacted. If they're teaching history, you're going to let the students determine what history is? See, this is the problem. You need guidance, and guidance is by the intelligentsia, the more intellect, the scientists, the people that know. And this is the problem when you let the lunatics vote in a democracy, which is a really bad system. And there you have it, just like the United States of America, which you can see the Congress run by the cross-cutting infected nuts of the GOP. They don't believe in global warming, they don't know what science is, a stupid Trump is an ignoramus and he cares about himself, self-righteous imbecile. Thinks about golf courses and himself. And people agree with him, because the majority of Christianity infected imbeciles. You see the problem? So what are you going to do? This is a perfect example of what democracy created by ignorant people does. Nobody is scientist. It's just, the majority rule, the people rule, and the people are ignorant, and there you have it.
I think they've shot themselves on the foot. A hangover you get over after a few days. They've really shot themselves on the foot. This is going to take a while to heal.
Fareed Zakaria, University of California, Los Angeles. I'm going to ask you to assess.
The ignoramuses, dumbasses, backpedal.
There's been a lot of frustration, it has to be said, amongst the media.
See what happens? When you have cross-cutting infected imbecile ignoramuses
during the campaign, but
letting them vote.
This isn't really relevant to the.
Then what happened is a stupid vote stupidly.
Narrative there.
ignorant morons. That's what happens.
I think that what
They like to be independent. Europe is one, it could be one nation, like the United States is formed of 50 states. You didn't start with 50 states and everybody leaving. It's like, oh, Arizona wants to leave, and Oregon wants to leave. Texas wants to leave. Oh, let's be independent. Like piece of shit. Christianity infected imbeciles in Texas. So thanks to Christ it induces ignorance. That's what churches do, mosques and synagogues. Keep the brain of children theotarded and ignorant and dumb. And this is what you get.
At least the last decade.
You let them vote.
President Sarkozy was elected in France. Boris Johnson is thrilled, and here's why. Boris Johnson only cares about one thing. He wants to be prime minister. He has taken 3 or 4 different positions on Europe.
Christ-psychotic infected imbecile, it looks like Trump.
As a supporter
blonde hair, all that idiot.
He then supported negotiating and holding a second referendum.
See the piece of shit?
He then
looks just like Trump.
Brexit.
Same crap.
Any position that's consistent with becoming prime minister.
And
idiot.
Leslie, I mean,
double moron. Look at that.
To possibly
Good morning.
Another Christian piece of garbage.
Funny, isn't it?
See, an ignoramus.
Funny, isn't it?
He wanted to leave the Union. It's like a state in the United States wants to leave. They don't understand the consequences because their brains are screwed up.
Oh, welcome.
That's the problem with this imbecile.
Good morning.
Idiot. And they are in power. Morons like that.
Quite a long time, and has made no secret in many ways for the disdain that he has for the institutions at various points. The former president of the European Council, I think he was calling him a bank clerk when he was appointed. But
he had to be in the Vatican.
The serious message that he was saying was, look, you needed
this member of parliament that was booed should be in the Vatican. They're living in imaginary friends to see they fix the economy. If Jesus Christ fixed the economy. Imbeciles.
Or most of them hadn't. It didn't exactly go down.
He is brilliant.
Well,
Richard Quest is mentally healthy and atheist. Brilliant.
That's not going to be anything of which he's going to...
People like that should be leaders, should be the ones in control. Like all these scientists, you're in control of government.
Watching that moment, personality, interviewing that man after it happened. And Richard, I'm going to actually have you live on the program doing that interview just as soon as Nigel Farage gets mic'd up and ready to go. So we're going to go to break.
of the UK Independence Party. Richard.
Probably the unofficial leader in that sense, because he was the unofficial leader within a large part of the Brexit campaign. We've already heard in Parliament this morning, you were almost gratuitously rude to the parliamentarians, and you enjoyed it.
Now that I started, twice the President of the Parliament had to cease proceedings and say, please listen to Mr. Farage. Then when I said to them, can we be grown up about this? Can we talk about trade deals?
You see, this is interesting because Richard Quest, which is a mentally healthy and atheist, and this is a Christ-psychotic infected imbecile. And the president, nobody mentions the upbringing of these people. And these people were born in Christianity-infected England. Christ-psychotic. One got rid of the disease and learned and science and economics and all that, which is Richard Quest. Connect all the dots. And he's an atheist. He's mentally healthy. The other imbecile is not. And that's the reason he voted to him leaving the UK. I mean, independent of everything, was perfect. It's like he probably goes to mass all the time on Sundays in the Episcopalian Church. You see what happens? That's the thinking. That's the problem. People like that are believing God and crap like that shouldn't be leaders of anything. Should be mental institutions.
The European Union, the threats have been very severe.
Do you know, yesterday...
And the pound has fallen 13, 14%.
See?
The FTSE's up 3%.
And he doesn't care.
12% up since its lows in...
He just wants to be independent.
He's marginal.
That's how imbecile the guy is. He's stuck in the Middle Ages.
Nonsense about the markets. You know, the pound has been in the
See?
market...
He doesn't see it.
2014. Fact. Now...
Look at that.
American viewers...
He doesn't see it.
NAFTA was a political union.
It's like people believing in resurrecting somebody that's in blood. There's a billion people that believe in Jesus Christ, that is real, and angels are real, and demons are real, and all that. These people shouldn't be in government.
UK, we're reasserting our...
The only ones that are the ones that do not believe in that with are mentally healthy. In other words, atheists like Richard Quest. You see what happens?
with the similar policies.
It's all related to bringing to religion, psychosis, the virus of the brain. The brain is the one creating all these things.
Do you admire Donald Trump in the US presidential election?
He admired Donald Trump.
Dares to talk about things that other people want to brush under the carpet. But what Mr. Trump is doing in America is very different to what I'm trying to do in the United Kingdom.
Really?
My problem in politics is far greater than Donald Trump's. We literally have lost our sovereignty, lost our borders, lost our ability to break
all Europe
about US borders.
Well, the problem that you've got in the US is illegal immigration. Our problem is legal immigration to 500 million people.
He becomes president of the United States. Barack Obama's going to the back of the trade queue. Wouldn't happen. You'd be at the front of the queue. So in many ways, you must hope he becomes president.
Well, I think for the United Kingdom, I think Trump would be better for us than Barack Obama's been, if that was no doubt.
And against Hillary Clinton? Or are you not going to take sides at this early stage?
Nothing on earth could persuade me ever to vote for Hillary Clinton.
See that piece of garbage? The imbecile?
No,
see this stupid ass?
I mean, she represents the political elite. It's almost...
See the imbecile?
She has...
The political elite. Well, this guy is member of parliament with a lot of power. He's not an elite? The piece of garbage Christianity infected imbecile? See what happens, the hypocrite?
I had a proper job.
How on earth do you have the effrontery to criticise Wall Street, the banks, you criticise big business when you were part of those markets?
See that?
Well, yeah, but the markets aren't just on
good
business. Good markets have small and medium-sized competitors trading in them.
Man, you're sick.
Look,
idiot, you cannot, irrational. You cannot reason correctly when you're infected with Christianity. He was born in a Christian home. He never got rid of the fairy tales.
You've got your change. You've got the moment. The Labour Party imploded with
it's a mess.
Has lost. The opposition party, that is, has lost a vote of confidence. The Prime Minister has resigned. You've got leadership elections in 2 parts.
See the mess?
This is sending a terrible message about what's happening in Britain.
It's a great message.
How can you say
See that?
A great message. Our political class have let us down like a week in that referendum was saying, get thee gone. Political change will be a good, healthy, constructive.
How much damage are you...
Great message like Christianity.
Chancellor now accepts.
Like the Crusaders.
There will be a recession.
It's like Nazi Germany, Hitler saying Nazism is great. Let's kill all the Jews and millions agree.
Accept before you rebuild the house.
Independence, democracy, not being a slave to somebody else is something upon which you can't put a price. And what we did last Thursday is we voted to take back our country, to take back our laws, our courts, our borders,
See that?
Pride and self-respect. And you know what?
But they all believe in Jesus Christ. They're not independent from Jesus Christ and Christianity and the churches and all the telling people what to do. They're not independent of that because he loves it. But he's a slave of his disease, of this Christian disease that he has. That's the problem. And he's trying to impose it on everybody else. That's the reason these people shouldn't be leaders. Anybody that is Christian should be in a mental institution.
And that's not going to be invoked. This is the article when the time limit begins. So when would you like to see it invoked?
I think now that there is a logic that says...
You don't have any logic!
See, as to where we're going with this. And it doesn't make sense to wait till the autumn. I think what the government needs to do is to put a negotiating team in place and to declare Article 50, to invoke it within the next few weeks. We're honouring the referendum.
Just like Trump.
Well, a couple more questions.
I mean, Europe has
on the next Prime Minister
lunatic
of the
idiots.
United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern
like this imbecile. Just like Trump.
He or she is committed to upholding the will of 17.5 million people last Thursday in that referendum.
He wants to go back to the Middle Ages.
I just want to see his backsliding.
Are you, just on this question about the money, you would never have made that promise about spending 350 million on the NHS.
Yes.
But when that promise was being made, Mr. Farage, you weren't out there saying, hang on, this isn't right, you can't make this guarantee, hang on, this is being disingenuous, hang on, this money needs to be spent elsewhere. You kept quiet.
Hypocrite.
That net...
It's a hypocrite!
£220 million, a which chose.
But you didn't challenge your fellow Brexiteers on their assertion.
Exactly.
It would go to, should you have done
Well, that's my problem.
Because they believe in imaginary friends.
Too easy.
There are many words that I would use to describe you, sir. None of those would come within my vocabulary. Finally, tonight at dinner, you'd probably be on the menu rather than actually sitting at the table. But if you were in the room at dinner, what would you be saying to your fellow European partners?
Let's stop being silly. You need
But you are silly. You're a Christian imbecile.
crack on, have a sensible tariff-free trade deal.
Here's a perfect example. Mentally healthy, in other words, an atheist, Richard Quest, and Christianity-infected Episcopalian, demented, irrational, stupid, ignorant men. This guy, the leader, Independent Party leader, that wants to break up everything. Look at the power. And everybody believes in him. It's just like the same thing like Trump. That he is the leader, he is the nominee of the Republican Party. And all the GOP, the God-obsessed party imbeciles, they are in a disarray and they're fighting among each other. They like Trump, and they're putting Trump to be the candidate for president to fight Hillary Clinton. And the guy is a self-righteous piece of garbage, Donald Trump. He thinks of himself, and nobody, in America, nobody, all the Republicans, oh yeah, he's great, 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 great. Nobody thinks about it. And the same thing happened in England. This guy says, oh, let's break from England, we need to be independent, we need to be better, we have to get away from the Union and all that. And the European Union is growing, it's becoming very powerful. And these people that believe exactly what he says, they are piece of shit, garbage Christian, ignoramuses, agree. And now they have a mess. Like Brexit, they have a mess, they don't know how to get out of it. That's exactly the same. That's exactly the problem when you have a Christianity-infected imbecile like that leading countries. These people should be in asylums because they are irrational. All the Christians are irrational. People that are Christians are irrational, illogical, infected with a brain virus, like an HIV virus. They believe in resurrecting something that's saved with blood, angels, spirits, and all that. That's religious. That's Christianity. The Muslims, the same thing. Anybody with religious beliefs are schizophrenic, and they don't know it. Like I said, it's the big elephant in the room that sits on these people, and they don't see it or feel it. Which is, religious beliefs are mental illness, a dangerous virus of the brain. And that is the reason, and that's the gravest problem in this planet, is to have all these lunatics that belong in mental institutions leading countries. They shouldn't be leading countries of any, they shouldn't be in power at all. Look at what happened with Bush. Christianity-infected Bush, it just screwed up the country. A war that we didn't need and all that, and people killed and all that stuff, and the imbeciles still don't see it. The Republican imbeciles still don't see it, and they call about Benghazi all the time. See the problem? This is the problem. Religion is a mental illness. I've been saying that ad nauseum in all my videos. And this is a perfect example. Mentally healthy atheist, intellectual, against Christianity-infected imbecile member of parliament. That should be in a mental institution. There you have it.
Advertises for 3.5-year, 30-year fixed rate mortgage, 3.5.
And this is just the beginning.
Mortgages. Money is
it's going to be a mess.
And that's driving.
Because remember, the brain is a creator of thought.
Really darn well.
A sick brain can only create sick thinking, and it creates irrational actions. To any action, there is a reaction.
This was a big risk.
And you will see the problem. You will see the problem. And it's all due to the disease that nobody sees. Religious beliefs, God belief, a psychosis, an HIV of the brain. Nobody sees it. Irrational brain, irrational, illogical, sick brain can only create, the beliefs in God and crap like that can create this mess. Messes like this. Happens throughout history. Those who don't know the past are condemned to repeat it.
500 revenue is tied to the UK.
Is not an ally, but essentially is turning a blind eye, letting fighters and weapons
as well as some of the Nusra groups, some of the other Al-Qaeda allied groups, it's the same thing. They were attracting some Westerners, and they did see Turkey as certainly turning a blind.
All right, friends. Well, what's new? Another expression of religious psychosis, brain HIV. These three people piously immolated themselves with explosives, and they are in heaven. They are in paradise. Yes, who can prove that they are not in paradise with the zombie or with the God, Allah, with the prophet, with all the angels and spirits, and the virginal floating vaginas with succulent mammary glands, with, in other words, tits floating around, young, beautiful, virginal, actually absorbing and inviting the penis Christ of the bombers. And if it's a woman that immolated herself, the penis, the succulent penis of the gods, of the angels, of the Huris, they're going to give them displeasure in paradise for eternity. No disease, nothing. And reading the Quran every second for eternity. Surrounded by all this beautiful food and angels and buildings paved with gold and marble. And servants everywhere, food everywhere. And naked women with this floating vaginas all over the place, given this orgasm, the pleasure orgasm for eternity. That is religious psychosis for you, my friends. In truth, they kill themselves, the whole body disintegrates, and it's going to be rotten, absorbed by viruses and bacteria, blood all over the place with bacteria and virus and all that, making the brain, the primate body, decompose. Rotten. That is the paradise of these imbeciles. Their moment of existence in time gone because they killed themselves because of the brain HIV that nobody seems to see, which is believe in God's imaginary friends, faith. A psychosis, one of the schizophrenias. Religion is one of the schizophrenias. So this will continue to happen until clueless neuroscientists and atheists, mentally healthy atheists, scientists, intellectuals in the United States of America, all over the world, define believing God, faith, as one of the schizophrenias. But a schizophrenia, a mental disorder, like an HIV of the brain, born a virus, affecting rational thought and logic, turning these people into very crazy, insane people that believe in these irrational things to be reality, and actually define them, people of faith, as people of schizophrenia, temporal of epilepsy, depression, bipolar disorder, mania, all roll into one. And that is religion. A psychosis, an HIV of the brain. And not until religion is defined for the very dangerous mental illness, a mental disorder, unless this is defined as a mental disorder, religious faith, God believe as a neurological disorder like an HIV of the brain, this will continue to happen over and over and over. All over the world you have bombings, you have, and these idiots will say, oh, they are radicalized, they're idiots. Because the United States of America is a Christianity-infected nation. They have churches corrupting the brain of children, turning them into psychopaths. And you see the Vatican. Nuts. Billion people that believe in a resurrected zombie that's with blood. That's psychotic people. Muslims. Saudi Arabia. All the Arabian countries. All psycho people. 73 sects in Islam psychosis. And ISIS is one of them. But you see what I mean? These people are believing this crap, and they read the Quran 5 times a day. They read and read and read, and they do it all the time. They wear all this crazy clothing, all these Roman togas, these white outfits. They're stuck in the 12th century. And the Christians are the same. They are psychotic people that kneel and pray to imaginary friends, telepathic communication with imaginary friends. That's what prayers are. And all religions have prayers, and all prayers is symptomatic of schizophrenia, of a mental disorder, because the brain is the creator of thinking. Nobody sees it. Nonetheless, people that believe in God are defined as crazy people, as having suffering from a mental illness, one of the schizophrenias. This will continue to happen. So, there you have it. That's reality, friends. God believes it's a brain disease. It's one of the schizophrenias, like an HIV of the brain. I've been saying that ad nauseum.